Peace to those who are near, and peace to those who are far off. I have been continuing my self-education of UFOs, and this video was encouraging people to have a specialization because this is such a broad category. So if I had a specialization, let it be the Word of God, how this applies to the Bible, to Jewish insight on it. This video is discussing trace evidence, which is tangible things that our hands can handle concerning these bright lights. So a first thing that people notice is a bright light appears, and in this case, it left a substance on the ground. So when I saw this substance, how they were picturing it, it turned into like these very small bits of white, which reminded me of manna, which is supposed to connect us with the Word of God. So Yahushua said he was all these things. He said he was light. He said he is the bread that came down from heaven, that he is the Word of God. So it says that our hands have handled this. So it's like this spiritual aspect that connects us to God because it manifests in the physical. So I just wanted to compare these components and see if it lines up with manna. So we would see this when the light is shared. So the Word of God is called the light, it's illumination. And then when we're able to digest it, it's the manna. It's like white as snow. So the interesting thing also here is that it was hydroponic, I think is what they said. So it's repellent to water. And that area continued to not grow any green growth because water wouldn't stay there, I guess. And so we know of the Word of God that he walked on the water. And the Israelites, I believe, before they ate it, they needed to boil it or bake it. I think they had to like apply some kind of heat to it. And the person researching these soil samples, even after 30 years, what she did was agitate it to stir it, and then the water was turned red. And I found that interesting, so I wanted to go down a little rabbit trail, that our blood is made up of amino acids, and the fulvic acid does include amino acids. So there's a tie with like humans have red blood, but being washed in the blood of Yahushua would make us white as snow. And if this was some kind of way for us to understand the manifestation of creation, so when people are exposed to the Word of God, this bright, blinding light, they should take on the eternal components of the Word of God. But if we eat and drink unworthily, then many are sick and weak and perish. And we're supposed to be steadfast and immovable in a good way. When the lady touched this white substance, she went numb, and it was still after 30 years, like it just stayed that way, unchanging. And so the Word of God, Yahushua, is unchanging, and we should be too. But if we do it unworthily, unprepared, then it could have a negative effect for us. So we have to be like in a fearful way, do exactly as God tells us. And I'm not saying like this is the Word of God, that UFOs are this, but I'm saying that it shares those same properties. So the effect should be eternal. And I'll go back to show you my searches, like amino acids, and our blood has there's globin proteins, blood cells, hemoglobin, what blood is made of. So there is a connection between the acid that is found in these trace elements and our blood and like just water. So it makes sense why biblically people are called the sea. And so with the creation account, it's the waters that fell below in relation to the beaten work, which I think is a picture of Messiah. There's those that are in above in relation to him that didn't fall. And then there is the fallen ones. And then from there we have the seas. And then out of the sea we have these life forms taking like maybe the fish and the birds, but then there could have been adaptations later, so things with slit eyes that weren't maybe original to creation that came from the intermingling of seed, such as like lizards and any other unclean animals that he probably didn't originally create. And also how that relates to man with the mixing of seed. It's so interesting, these analogies that the Bible makes to help us understand the spiritual world, like the mixing of iron and clay. You are the salt of the earth. If maybe salt originally comes from dragons, but now we replace them, or that originally we were more like the clay, but now we are the iron. There's some iron in our blood. So it's fun to be able to think in depth in ways we've never thought before to connect what we're seeing with the Word of God. Thanks for watching.